Hey, it's Manu with 22 Sound, the independent record store in Manville, Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans. Just like every week, we're presenting you with what we think are the highlights of the vinyl release week. And this week we're looking at September 2nd, 2022. Let's start with one that I'm really excited about. It's the new Megadeth. The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead is the title of it. And yeah, Megadeth is definitely one of my favorite bands of all time, absolutely. But I have to admit, it's been a little while since the new Megadeth album really blew me away. Not that they were necessarily bad, but I don't know, I'm still I tend to go back to the old records when I'm in the mood for Megadeth. And I even actually like 90s Megadeth, but that's a different topic here. What's great though is those songs that they released so far are absolutely superb. A lot of people are really excited about it, me too. And I think, hey, if this whole album holds up to the quality and energy level of those first 3 songs that they released, we're in for a real treat. Really looking forward to this one. And yeah, there's about 25 different versions of this. Of course, it might be a slight exaggeration, but you know, deluxe edition, this and that. It's complicated, but just check out our website. 22soundrecords.com, and you can see all the different versions. And just by the way, even though we actually focus on vinyl records here at the physical store, on our website you can order CDs, or in this case even cassettes versions of the albums too, so check that out. Next one is Youngblood. It's his 3rd album, and it's self-titled because, as he said, it's his most personal album so far. And that means it's probably going to be really fucking personal, because that's kind of his whole thing. Really personal, you know, emotional kind of lyrics. Musically, it's probably best described as pop punk. It's actually on the new Demi Lovato album, 2 on 1 track, which kind of is in a similar vein musically. Really poppy, really catchy melodies. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that's on the rise, has definitely gained a pretty big fan base, especially in England. And I guess he's only gonna get bigger with this one, Youngblood. Next up is a band that's probably not gonna sell millions of records. They're just a little too bonkers for that. It's the Callous Doll Boys. Probably best described as mathcore. And yeah, it's really quite wild, their music. There's a little bit of a Dillinger Escape Plan-y quality to the music, as in how crazy it is, and the changes and everything. But then all of a sudden they come around with like a little emo pop chorus in there. They have a violin player, and they just mix together all different things. Sometimes within one verse, it's pretty crazy, but it's very interesting too. So if you want something that really keeps you on your toes, check those guys out. Cool band. Next up is another band that's been around for a long time, almost as long as Megadeth, not quite, but it's Blind Guardian, and they are German power metal heroes with their 12th studio album. Power metal, of course, is one of those genres that is kind of easy to make fun of. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's a little too cheesy, too over the top. And for me, I'm kind of on the fence. I think if it's done well, if I'm in the right mood, I like it. Because oftentimes I really like the riffing, the energy of it, the solos and all that. Sometimes the vocals can be a little bit too much for me. But if I listen to power metal, I want to listen to high quality stuff, and Blind Guardian definitely the creme de la creme of that genre. The songs that I've heard so far are really good. So if you like this kind of metal, that's definitely one of the bands to go to. Always put out really high quality stuff. Blind Guardian, the God Machine. Next up is a really undergroundy band from St. Petersburg, Russia. They're called Olhava, and this is a atmospheric black metal band, I guess I would describe it. you know, it's kind of that mix of beautiful, harsh, almost like kind of claustrophobic atmosphere that they create. It's really interesting, and it's really something that you kind of want to delve into completely. The shortest song on this album is 16 minutes long, so this is really music that builds slowly, that is all about that vibe, but it's really good, and it comes from a really cool label, Avant-Garde Music in Italy. They really put out a lot of really great stuff in that, especially in that black metal, doom metal genre, so always good to kind of stay up to date with their releases, because they oftentimes find really cool, interesting bands out there. All right, and last but not least, throwing in, as we oftentimes do, one reissue for the week, and it is Third Eye Blind. Their debut album is getting a reissue. Originally came out in 1997, self-titled, and that really was kind of like the sound of the late 90s, or kind of one of the albums that defined that radio rock sound of the late 90s. Not quite as harsh and angsty as the earlier 90s grunge stuff that kind of dominated up to that point. The melodies are really poppy, but yeah, they had some really great hits. To be honest, it was never really my kind of music too much, but as somebody who enjoys music, somebody who respects musicianship, one thing I can definitely say is the songwriting is pretty impressive on that, because it is definitely an art form to write really catchy, hooky melodies, and they were really great at it. Third Eye Blind, this has been pretty hard to get by on vinyl, so here's gonna be your chance to grab it. All right, as always, I like to point out, of course, this is very subjective. There's many more releases. Check out our website, 22soundrecords.com. You can see them all, and you can, of course, pre-order these records here, but also much further in the future. So check out what we got to offer there. It's quite a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, comment. Thank you very much. See you all next week.